So, today we will take an example and show how to solve the simplex method, that LP problem by using simplex method by what is called the tabular form. Let us consider this example. Maximize f of x. X is a variable. There are two decision variables are there. Its dimension is 2 cross 1 x. So, it is a, we have 99 x 1 plus 90 x 2 plus 5 to 5. This is the objective function subject to inequality constant, that is 4 x 1 plus 6 x 2 is less than equal to 85, and 30 x 1 minus 10 x 2 is less than equal to 250, and 30 x 1 plus 60 x 2 is less than equal to 700, and our x I varies is greater than 0, we have a 2 I 1 and I 2 x 1 x 2. These are the constraints are given. We have to solve, we have to maximize this function. Last class we have solved a problem of linear programming problem using what is called the algebraic approach. So, today we will solve the LP problem using the tabular form. The same basic concept is exactly same as before, only we are representing the all operation in tabular form. So, let us as you know, our first job is LP problem to convert into a standard LP problems. So, first we convert step 1, we convert this problem into a standard LP problem, convert standard LP problem. Our standard LP problem is, we have considered in the beginning that minimize the function. So, our given problem is maximization. So, we will solve this problem, that optimization problem, LP linear optimization problem, by considering the minimization of a objective function. So, f minimize the function, let us call z the function, which is nothing but a minus f of x. F of x is the maximization, with preceding sign minus means it is a minimization, that we have explained earlier also, that this is nothing but a 99 x 1 minus sign minus 90 x 2 minus 5 to 5, subject to the constraint. What is the constraint we have to standard LP problem? This inequality constraints, which is of this type less than equal to, all are less than equal to of this type. There may be some greater than equal to, some expression is greater than, linear expression greater than equal to some numerical values. So, we will see later how to tackle such type of problem. For the time being, we are considering the inequality of less than equal to type. So, this you have to convert it equal to sign. So, 4 x 1 plus 6 x 2, and this quantity left hand side is less than 85. So, we have to add some variables, let us call, we are adding some variable, new variable is x 3, and which we call the slack variable. This equal to 85, and not only this right hand side equal to sign we have to convert, we have to take care so that the right hand side quantity, constant quantity is positive quantity, non-zero component positive quantity. This is we have converted first one, and second one is 30 x 1 minus 10 x 2 plus this is less than 250. That means something, some variable we have to add it with this expression. That means let us call this is x 4 is equal to 250. And we have a last equation, inequality equation 30 x 1 plus 60 x 2 is less than 700. That means, we have to add another variable which is slack variable. This is also slack variable x 4, x 5 is a slack variable. Each slack variable value is greater than equal to 0. So, that is your 700. With the constraints that x I is greater than equal to 0 for I is equal to, in your case now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you see the right hand side of the equality constraint, that is B, we denoted by vector V earlier, that is we written as this 85. First equation equality sign is 85, 250, then 700, and each component of this vector is greater than 0. So, this problem we have to solve. First, we have converted into standard LP problems. Next is start so initial basic solution. The way we did it for algebraic approach, the same way of doing it. So, we have to identify which are the variables are non-basic variable, which variables are basic variables. Agree? That means, in other words, non-basic variable we are assigned to 0 and basic variable, hence a basic variable we are able to calculate from the expressions. So, now I am writing into the way we have did it for algebraic approach. Now, I am put it in tabular form, exactly same manner. So, this is initial table for the LP problem, the basic variable table 1. So, you can write it this. So, you can write it a first table, agree, initial table U for the LP problem, for the LP problem. So, first column you write it the basic variables, basic or choice of basic variables, you are putting in this down. Then I am writing all the variables assigned in the standard LP problem. X 1 we have altogether 5 variables, x 1, x 2, x 3, x 4, then x 5. Then we will write right hand side of the equality constraints, that is B, BI you can say. Then we write it the ratio of BI divided by AIJ. So, let us call this equation first equation. I am writing the first equation 4 x 1 plus 6 x 2 plus x 3 is equal to 85. X 1 that is 4, 4 into x 1. Next is plus 6 into x 2, below x 2 6. Then x 3 1 into x 3, below x 3 1, and there is no x 4 x 5. So, I will put this coefficient is 0 and right hand side is what 85. Similarly, this equation x 1 30 into x 1. So, x 1 coefficient is 30, then minus 10 into x 2 minus 10, then no x 3 x 4, 1 into x 4, x 3 there is no x 3. That means, in other words I can say x 3 coefficient is 0, then x 4 coefficient is 1, there is no x 5. So, I can assume x 5 coefficient is 0 is equal to 250. Similarly, the third equation 30 x 1, 30, 60 x 2, then there is no x 3 x 4. So, their coefficient I can write 0, then x 5 coefficient is 1, that is equal to your 700. So, this is the standard LP problem. This is the equality constant I have written into tabular form. Okay. Next is your cost function, mean objective function expression function I am writing. So, see the objective function here, z minimize z is minus 99 into x 1, x 1 coefficient is minus 99. So, minus 99, x 1 below x 1 minus 99, and you see this minus 90 x 2, x 2 coefficient is minus 90. So, below x 2 I will write minus 90, and there is no other variables are here. So, the coefficient I can write it this into this into this. Now, look at this expression. If you recollect, I mentioned earlier that if you add a constant term with the objective function, then the function value maximum, that minimum or maximum value of the function at what point it occurs. If you add a constant term to the function, it will occur in the same point. Only you can say the whole objective function curve is lifted up or down depending upon the value of that constant term, either positive or negative. So, I can easily put it this into that side z, okay, with z. So, our now objective function I will tell z plus 525. This is our objective function value now z plus 525. So, we will tell z plus 525, this function we have to minimize. So, first iteration you see I have written this one. Now, which one I will consider the objective function, what is called non-basic function and non-basic variables and basic variables. And if you see this matrix itself, that our according to our definition, this is the A matrix. A matrix, the x 3 involved in equation number 1 only, no other x 3 is there. X 4 involved in equation number 2, this equation only, and x 5 it involves in equation number 3, no other equation. So, I can easily consider the x 3, x 4, x 5, x 3, x 4, x 5 are the basic variables. So, I am writing x 1, sorry x 3, x 3, x 4, x 5, this is the basic variable I have considered, and non-basic variables are the remaining. Okay? If you recollect, if you have a equation, that a inequality equation or equality equation of the what is called LP problem, there are m equations or the n variables are there. So, there will be basic variable is m, and remaining n minus m variables will be the non-basic variables. Similarly, here also we have a 3 equation, 5 unknowns are there. So, 3 are the basic variables and 2 are the non-basic. Remaining variables are non-basic variables. So, I identify with an arrow x 1 and x 2, these are the non-basic variables. Agree? Now, you see from this table, if x 1 and x 2 are non-basic variable, means its value is assigned to 0, its values is assigned to 0, then immediately from this expression I can find out x 3 is equal to 85. You see 4 into x 1, this value is 0. So, 0 plus 6 into x 2 value is 0, this is 0, plus x 3 into 1, 0 into x 4 0, 0 into x 5 0. So, our x 3 non basic variable is 85. Similarly, in this expression you will see our x 4 is equal to 250, there our x 5 is equal to 750, because 30 into x 1 value is 0, 60 into x 2 value is 0, only x 5 is equal to 700. So, from this we can straightway we can write from this table that what is called our treating x 3, x 4 and x 5 are the basic variables and x 1, x 2 are the non basic variables whose values are 0, non basic variables. Then we have now from the table, if you see now we have from the table, I can write we have now from the table x, what is our x 3? X 3 value is, you see x 3 value is, there is 1, this coefficient is 0, 4 into x 1, 6 into plus 6 into x 2, x 1 x 2 value is 0. So, our x 3 is equal to 85, x 3 value is our 85. Similarly, x 4 value is 250, similarly x 5 value is 700. Okay. So, these are the basic solution of that one. Now, and corresponding objective function value is what? See this one, x 1 into 99 0 plus x 2 into 90 0, x 3 into 0 0 plus x 4 into 0 0. So, our objective function value is this, left hand side is 0, right hand side is this. So, z is equal to minus 525. If you see and the corresponding objective function value, cost function value is z plus 525 is equal to 0, z is equal to minus 25. Now, our search, we have to move, agree, to the adjacent vertex, so that the function value is further decreased or the rate of decrement must be negative, agree, negative decrement. So, now we find out, we have to select which non basic variable, there are two non basic variable x 1 and x 2, which one go for a basic variable, means entering as a basic variable, which one, x 1 or x 2. Similarly, from the basic variable, which one will leave as a non basic variable, which one leave as a non basic variable, either x 3, x 4, x 5, leaving, or you can say leaving basic variable, which one is leaving the basic variable, leaving basic variable. So, let us see with this one, if you make it concentration on this one, that our actual 99 into x 1 minus 90 into x 2, we have already explained that the largest negative coefficient will be our choice of pivot column, that means which element, which variable we will consider as a basic variable of non basic variables, which variable. So, largest coefficient in the objective function is that one, negative sign, largest coefficient with negative sign is that one. So, this is I will call as a, we will call as a pivot column. Agree? So, you concentrate on the cost function expression. What is the expression? Minus 99 into x 1 minus 90 plus minus 90 into x 2, 0 into x 3, x 3, only these are. So, in the objective function or cost function, only non basic variables are there, agree, and out of these two non basic variable, which variable will consider as a basic variable? The variable which having the what is called largest negative coefficient, that will be treated as a, that non basic variable will be treated as a basic variable. That means, it is leaving from the non basic variable and entering as a basic variable. So, you will write E B P, entering basic variables, this one, agree. So, our if you remember, so this column and this column belongs to that x 1. So, this is the pivot column is the x 1 will go as a basic variable. Now, which variable, that means x 3, x 4, x 5, which variable now will act as a non basic variable. So, that we have seen, we have told you that how to check it, this one, take the ratio B, this is B 1, B 2, B 3, B 1, this is first row, B 1 divided by A 1, which column? First column. So, I will write it, this ratio you calculate 85 divided by 4. Then this is B 2 is 250 divided by 30, then it is 700 divided by 30. Suppose if you have a negative sign here, that things you just ignore, because that will, if you get a negative sign of this one, see what is happening. Minus 30, if it is a negative, minus 30 into x 1 plus 60 into x 2, agree, plus x 3 plus x 5 is equal to 700, agree. Now, you see that x 5, that what we are telling is the x 5 is equal to what? Minus 30, if you take that side, right hand side, it will pass plus 30 x 1, then minus 60 x 2, agree. So, you have already considered this is the pivot element of this one. So, if your value is increased, if you take that side, it will be 30 x 1. If x 1 value is increased from 0, then the function value is increasing, instead of decreasing, it is increasing. So, that is why if there is a negative sign is there, you should not consider that quantity, agree. So, you cannot make, what I am telling, you cannot make x 5, look at this, you cannot make x 5 0 by entering this one is a, if it is negative. So, if it is negative, that corresponding ratio you ignore it. So, now we have all are positive, we got it this one. Out of this ratio, which was is the minimum or least, that will consider as a pivot row. That is also we have discussed when we are discussing the algebraic approach. So, if you find out this one, this will be at 21.4, 21.25, agree, and this ratio will be 8.33, and this ratio will be your 23.33. So, you will take the ratio which one is the least. So, this is the least one. So, this arrow, according to the arrow, will give you the pivot row. So, this corresponding to this, you see x 4 is the pivot row. That means, from here is a 1 corresponding to 1 is x 4 now. So, out of x 3, x 4, x 5, the 1 is identified as a non basic variable. That means, leaving basic variable, which variable is leaving? X 4 is leaving as a non basic variable. So, you just identify this column. So, which element is the pivot element now? This is our pivot element, pivot column and pivot row corresponding to the element, common element is the pivot element. This called pivot element. So, Now, you can see the x 1 I will treat as a basic variable, this is pivot column you find it, and x 4 I will treat as a non basic variable. So, you have to now generate that what is called new table. So, table 2, second table you say, second table. In the second table, just now we have mentioned making x 1 as basic variable and remaining variables are same. Previously x 3, x 4, x 5 is the basic variable was there. Now, we have identified x 4 is living from the basic variables and acting as a non basic variable. So, x 4 place, that is x 1 will take place, non basic variable x 1 will act as a basic variable, and other basic variables is what, x 3 and x 5. In resultant, we can say our basic variables are now x 1, x 3 and x 5, and which basic variable now treated as a non basic variable, that is your x 4. Our x 4 and x 4 as non basic variable. So, you can call this x 1 is called that entering basic variable, x 1 entering as a basic variable. This one you can say that this basic variable, living basic variable, which variable is living, x 4 is living basic variables, this one. So, now keeping this thing in mind, we just write the second table from the second table. See how I am forming. Again you write basic variables, again you x 1, x 2, x 3, x 4, x 5, then b, agree, then our ratio, what is called b I divided by a I j ratio, this. So, you see previous that table, which one is basic variable, pivot element, this is, and that element coefficient is x 1 coefficient is 30, but I have to make it 1 coefficient, because when you are converted into canonical, all coefficient was 1 1 1, you see x 4 was 1. Now, this is a basic variable acting as a x 1 is a basic variable. So, that coefficient must be 1. What does it mean? That whole equation I am dividing by 1, scaling by 30, I am scaling by 30. So, if you the whole equation, if you scaling by 30, 30 by 30 1, minus 10 by 30, 0 by 30, 1 by 30, 0 by 30, 250 by 30. So, if you do this one, that corresponding to that our second row. So, I am writing the second row, you see 1, then minus 10 by 30, then what is this value will become 1 third, means minus 0.333, then 0 by 30, this value will be 0, then 1 by 30, this will be 1 by 30, that means this will be a 0.0333, then 0 by 30, 0, and 250 by 30, that is 0, and that is 250 by 30 will be 8.33. So, this, and since x 1 is the basic variable and it is, and other basic variable is here previously, you see x 3 variable, then x 5, but x 4 is going as a non-basic variable. So, this place will be replaced by x 1. So, x 3, then x 1, then x 5. This indicates which are the basic variable, and non-basic variable is what? Previously x 2, now it is x 2. Now, x 4 is treated as a non-basic variable, I am put it with arrow, non-basic variables. Non-basic variable. So, these basic variables you see, if you see the x 1, x 4, x 5, the basic variable in one equation x 3, first equation the x 3 is involved, other equation x 3 is not there. That means, the basic variable involved in one equation only, x 4 basic variable involved in second equation only, other two equation is does not, first and third is not involved. So, here I made it, but you see in the first equation x 1 is involved, 4 into x 1. So, I have to remove it, that I can remove it by elementary operations, you can say. Now, what I did it, after scaling this equation I multiplied by 4, because I have to remove that 4 from the first equation. Agree? If you multiply it by 4, I am just writing this is the equation number 4 or equation number 1. So, you do the operation equation number 1 minus equation number 2 multiplied by 4. So, if you multiply it by 4, it is a 4 multiplied by 4 whole row. Agree? So, and see this one I multiplied by 4. So, 2 multiplied by 4 and then subtract from 1. So, it is multiplied by 4 minus 4 0. So, this is how much? 4 means 4 into this, it will be 1.3 something, and that coefficient is 6. So, 6 minus of this one, and what is this one? If you say this value will come 4.668. Agree? This is 6. I multiplied by this. I multiplied by this 4. That means, if whatever I multiplied by 4, if you multiply by 4, this will be this will be how much? Just a rough calculation you see, this will be 1 point, just like 1.43, just 0.333 multiplied by 4, this will be 1.3 minus sign, and you are subtracting that one. So, that value will be what? Subtracting means it will be it is already minus is there, minus is subtracting, that is it will be 7.33 into 7.332. Please check it this one. So, this I divided by 30 first. So, this is 1, this is 1/3, this is 0, this is 1 by 30, then 0, 250 by 30, that is this one. Now, I am doing elementary operations. I multiplied by this equation after scaling by 4 and subtracting from this, subtracted from 1. So, 1 into 4, 4 minus 4, 0, then this is minus already. Agree? So, 1.3 I subtracted from this one 6 plus 7, 0 minus 1, that means this will be 1. Agree? Then this is subtracted, this is multiplied by 4. 4 means just now you have calculated is 1 point, but it is 0.03, that value will be 0.1322, and x 4 value is what? 0. So, this will be minus 0.1332, this is 0, and x 5 value is 0. So, that will be also 0. Then this multiplied by 4, 8.3 multiplied by 4, agree, and subtracted from that 85. So, this will be near about 32 something, and you see 8.33 multiplied by 4, agree, 33 something subtracted from 85. Then you subtract this one, it will be coming 51.68. Now, you see in this equation, from first equation x 1 is eliminated. So, x 1 is involved in equation number 2, but here x 1 also there. So, that from row 3 the x 1 must be eliminated. So, how you do it? This is already you have scaled by 1. So, this equation you multiplied by 30. So, second equation, that this equation you will get it 3 minus 2 multiplied by 30. Again, if you multiply by 30 is nothing but that one. So, what will you subtract 3 minus this? If you subtract 3 minus this, it is 0. 3 minus this minus this 70. So, it will be 0, then 70, then you see 0 0 0, then this 0 minus this, that will be minus 1, then you see 0, 1 minus 0, 0, I am a 1, then you see this one, this is 700 minus 250, it is a 450. So, I got it this one. Now, you see there is no harm if you see this expression now, if you see in this expression x 1, if you see x 1 multiplied by 99, x 2 minus 90, there is no harm if you keep it like this way, but you say I can easily, because I know the expression for x 1, I can easily eliminate x 1 from this equation, from this second equation. With the help of second equation, I can eliminate what is called our basic variables from the objective function. There is nothing wrong if you just eliminate. Agree? How will you eliminate? That this coefficient is, you see, 99 into x 1. If you want to eliminate x 1 from objective function, I have to multiply the normalized equation of equation 2 by 99, then add it. So, if you multiply by, in order to, this is a cost function. Agree? In cost function, our position is fourth equation. So, fourth equation minus equation number 2, this is our equation number 2 into 99. Agree? So, if you multiply by 99 and subtract from this one, multiplied by 99 this one, and subtract from this equation, not subtract, add, this you have to add it. So, I made it add, because already minus sign is there, you have to add it. So, if you add it, then you can write it, this is 0, and this is you multiplied by 99, add it with this one. Agree? 99 means approximately 100, it called, that means 33.3. Agree? And add with this one. So, it will be, what will be this one? Near about 33. So, 37 something. Agree? If you add it this one, you will get it how much? How much you will get it? This is minus 99. So, you are divided by this, you got it this one. So, you add it this one. So, this I am adding with this one. I am adding is this one, that is minus 99, and this is 33 point, that means 123, near about 123 some this. Agree? Now, this 0 and third position is 0, So, 0 0, then this multiplied by 99, let us call 100. So, it is 3.33, add with the corresponding element, the corresponding element means x 4, x 4 is your 0. So, it will come 33 100 3.3. So, 3.3, then this 99 and this position is your 0. So, this will come 0 and this is what you are multiplied by 99, add with that, add with what, z plus 525. If you added this one, it will come z plus 1350. Agree? So, what I have written it here, exactly same thing you are doing here. Agree? This way. This is for corresponding to, in order to get this row, this is corresponding to in order to get this row. Agree? Then this is corresponding in order to get this row. Now, look at this objective functions. The coefficient, non-zero coefficient objective function related with the non-basic variables. You say x 2 into this one, x 4 into this one, previous table if you see exactly same, and the basic variable coefficients are 0. Agree? So, what is this cost function values? X 1 into 0 plus x 2 into this one, x 2 value also 0, non-basic variable, x 3 value is non-zero, but its value is coefficient is 0, 0 plus x 4 into 3.3, but x 4 value is non-basic value is 0, x 5 into 0, x 5 is not equal to 0 because it is a basic variable, but this coefficient is 0. So, our objective function value is that one, z plus 1350, this is 1350. Agree? So, I can easily find out this one. So, now you see this one. So, from the table immediately I can write what is the basic variables value, x 1 value, you see x 1 value is 8.33. How? X 1 into 1, x 2 into this quantity plus x 2 value is 0, x 3 into 0, 0 plus x 4 into 0, x 4 value is 0, 0, x 5 into 0, 0. So, x 1 value is only 8.33. Similarly, I can write x 3 value. Similarly, I can write x 3 value. See, x 3 value is 51.68 and x 5 value is our 450. So, these are all basic variables value. Values. Non-basic variable is what? X 2 is equal to 0, x 4 is equal to 0. Now, look at this objective function. This objective function you see 123 into x 2 and you have a x 3.3 into x 4. So, if you want to make it this is non-basic variable to basic variable, x 4 value you have to increase it. If you increase, the function value will also increase. So, that will not disturb that positive quantity, that will be act as a non-basic variable. But here you see this is minus 123. If you increase the value from 0 to some positive value, the whole function value is now decreased. Agree? So, this one can do it. Hello? না ক্লাসে আছি। So, this I can take it now. Which one will be our pivot column? I told you, if you recollect this one, you look at the coefficient of objective function which is most negative coefficient, that will be considered as a pivot column. So, our this is the pivot column for the second table. So, this is our pivot column. So, that means now the x 2 will go as a basic variable. Now, I have to find out if x 2 go as a basic variable, then which variables basic variable will enter in place of x 2. So, that will be decided by the ratio of that one, that we have explained when we are discussing the algebraic approach. So, this ratio will be 51.68 divided by 7.332, and that value is coming 10.4. Agree? And this negative I told you do not care, because that will not help you to decrease our function value. So, this is 450 divided by 70, this value is coming 6.43, and lowest positive ratio is this one. Okay. So, this row will be treated as a what is called pivot row, means in this row we have whatever the basic variable we have, that will be that will go as a non basic variable, and you see this is coefficient of this one is 1, and this is x 5, here also you see x 5. So, our if you just draw a that row, and this will treat as an pivot column, sorry, element. So, this is the plan. So, we have to now start our operation with this element. So, with this element, that means this element is which one? X 2, x 2 go as a basic variable, and x 5 will go as a non basic variable. So, basic variable, if it is x 2 is a basic variable, that coefficient you see you have here. So, that coefficient I have to make it 0. Similarly, the corresponding coefficient in the objective function, that also you have to make it 0 by using elementary row operations. The same procedure if you follow. Now, you see the our what is the from this table, what is our objective function value is minus 13.25. Previously we got it, if you see this one, previously function value we got it z is equal to some function, yes, minus 525. Now, you got minus 1350. Agree? So, now function value is decreased. Further, we can decrease the function value, since the coefficient of the objective function one coefficient is negative. Agree? So, there is a possibility to increase that one. So, let us call in table 3 now, third table. So, third table, can you tell me which one will be your entering basic variable? Our entering basic variable is this basic x 2 is entering as a basic variable. So, in short I write it entering basic variable is x 2. So, leaving basic variable, which basic variable is leaving? That means x 5. So, x 5 leaving basic variable is x 5. So, now you can easily generate our table. Same way x 1, x 2, x 3, x 4, x 5, b, then ratio b I divided a I j. Agree? And here is basic variables. Agree? So, if you recollect this one, what I told you here just now, the our this is the pivot element. So, I have to divide that one by 70, that third row I have divided by 70, because I have to make its coefficient 1. So, if you divide by 70 this equation, it is 0, 1 0 1 by 70. So, I am writing the third last equation, that is 0 1 then 0 then 1 by 17 minus 1 by 70 then 1 by 70, agree. Then this is our, if you see 450 by 70, 450 by 70 is a 45 by 7, in other words this one, and which value is 6 point, this value is 6.4, 6.428, agree this one. So, I have to remove, I have to eliminate x 1 from this equation, and as well as from this equation. So, what I will do it this one, equation number 1, agree, equation number 1 multiplied by this equation after normalizing what we got it, this you multiplied by 7.33 and subtract from equation 1 and subtract from equation 1, agree. You this equation after normalizing you multiplied by 7.33 then subtract from equation 1. Similarly, to get eliminate x 2, you multiplied by this equation after normalization by 3.33 and add with equation number 2 to eliminate that one, agree. And then this equation you multiplied by, after normalization, third equation after multiplying by this by 123, add with the objective function, then you will get it, what you will get it, you just see. So, our non-basic variables are, which one we have identified non-basic variables? Our non-basic variables is x 4 and x 5, x 5 is going as a non-basic variable. So, x 5 and then your our x 4 is the non-basic variables, agree. And our basic variables are x 1, previously our x 1, this is x 3, x 1 and x 2. If you see see this one x 3 was, then x 1 x 3 x 1, then x 2 is entering as a basic variable. So, I have written x 2. So, this is our basic variables. So, now if you filled up this one, then you will get it this, the similar manner if you do it, it is 0 1, just as it is I told you, the same method if you follow it. See a third equation, I multiplied by this third equation is I multiplied by, in order to get this one, what I am writing, see equation number 1, minus equation number 3 into 7.332. In order to get equation number 2 minus equation number 3, not minus, it is already plus, minus is there, I have to add this, multiplied by 0.333. So, then next cost function, how you got it the cost function? Then you will get it that equation number 4, this is the equation number 4 plus equation number 3 into 123, if you do it, you will get this. Finally, if you do this operation equation number 1, then your 2 and 4, then you will get finally the results of that one 0, 0, 0, 12.01, 1.758, then your this will come f plus 2140.64, agree 64, and this will come, that is x 4, that value this will come 0, then this will become 0.0285, this will come 4.76 10 to the power 6 and 10.47, agree, and this will come minus 0.143 and 20.99, agree. Now, immediately you can see x 3 value is what 20.98, x 1 value is what 10.47, x 2 value is what 6.42, agree, 6.42. So, and these values is will be coming, see this value, the 1 by 70 into 1 by 70 into this will be 0. So, okay, next class I will complete this table. Okay. So, now time is up. So, I just complete next class this. So, we will start from this table next class. So, if you see this last row of the objective function, it will be totally all coefficients are positive. That means, there is no chance to improve the function value, means decrease the function value by changing one of the basic variable is a non basic variable and non basic variable as a basic variable. So, you will continue next class.